Welcome everyone to Behind the Bee. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle Reed and I use the she, her pronouns, and I'm the Community Engagement and Activation Lead at B Lab U.S. in Canada. Joining me today is my incredible colleague, Sylvia Lacerna, who is the Community and Innovation Strategist at B Lab U.S. in Canada.
Thank you, Michelle. B Corp Month is a time for the B Corp community and other stakeholders worldwide to celebrate everything it means to be a B Corp. It is our opportunity to educate and build awareness of the importance of this movement to transform our economic system for a better future for everyone. Today, we are inviting everyone to step behind the B and see that being a B Corp is more than just a logo. Certifying is a rigorous process that only the most committed businesses successfully go through. By going behind the B, we'll hear how our community is using business as a force for good and showcase how this new way of doing business is changing the world.
I am calling in today from the unceded Indigenous lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations, today what we call Vancouver. We invite you all to take a moment to share in the chat the lands where you reside. We'd like to take a few moments to acknowledge that every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making a history that led to this moment. Some were brought to a place against their will, some were drawn to leave their distant homes in a hope of a better life, and some have lived in place for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this event by acknowledging and honoring the truth.
Thank you. As you may have seen during registration, we have community guidelines for all of our events. B Lab U.S. in Canada stands against all forms of oppression, including racism, transphobia, classism, sexism, and xenophobia. Please take a moment to review the guidelines and let us know if you or anyone else is experiencing any behavior that doesn't align with our values.
Today on the call, we'll be highlighting the following areas. Right now, we are doing the introductions and welcome. Then we will learn more about the B Corp movement. We will hear from a member of our community what being a B Corp means to them. Then we'll have an intro to B Corp certification and learn what it takes to become B Corp certified. We will also hear from a recent member of the B Corp community what the certification process was like for them. During the break, we will play a great example of a B Corp promo video. And then we will take a look at the work ahead in our collective action strategy. Lastly, we will hear from a B Corp how they've implemented collective action in their community. We have enabled closed captioning for this event. If you'd like to adjust how this looks on your screen or hide it, click on the closed captioning button located on your Zoom control bar. We encourage you to use the chat to communicate with other attendees. Make sure you are sending to everyone so everyone can see you in the chat. You can use a drop-down menu to adjust who you're sending a message to. We also encourage folks to use the Q&A function to communicate with B Lab and event hosts. Though we don't have designated time for Q&A, we will do our best to answer your questions through the Q&A function.
We have some B Lab speakers today that will share more about the B Corp certification in the community, and a few B Corp speakers sharing what it means to be a B Corp. Here are the speakers for today. From B Lab, we have Joao Campos, Business Development Specialist, Carrie Ann Reeves, Business Development Coordinator, Mariel Martin, Associate Manager for the Racial Equity Program. And from the B Corp community, we are very lucky to have Kevin Lee, Environmental Impact and Compliance Specialist at Dr. Bronner, Farmer C, who is the CEO and President of Green Heffa Farms, and Chris Kallal, Founder and CEO of Wild and Pine.
Before we go into the presentation, we would love to know who's with us in the room. So we're going to take a quick poll. So get ready to participate. The poll will pop up on your screen and we will have 30 seconds to complete this. Oh, y'all are fast. It looks like it's coming in. We're almost at the 75% mark. All right, I think we're going to end it. So it looks like most of you that are joining us actually work at a B Corp. So welcome, and we hope that you'll find today really interesting and inspiring.
Okay, so we're not going to quiz you on anything yet. But we would love to know how familiar you are with the B Corp movement at this time. Hopefully at the end of the day, this will increase substantially. We're getting results in. I'll wait a little bit longer. Okay. It seems like you're all quite fresh into the B Corp movement, and we're excited to have you joining today. Thanks for being here, and we really hope that this is inspiring to you. Now I'm going to pass it to Joao Campos, who is our business development specialist, and he will talk to us about the origins of the B Corp movement, B Lab, the founders, the story, and why they created this organization. Joao, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Sylvia. As Sylvia was saying, I'm going to be telling a little bit about the story of B Lab, how it was founded, and how we got to where we are today. Some of you might already know some tidbits about this, but the story started with Bart Houlihan, Jay Cohen Gilbert, and Andrew Kasoy, who were all friends and business partners who lived in and around Philadelphia. They founded B Lab in 2006, but the first company got certified in 2007. Looking a little bit further back than that, we can get a little bit more context on why B Lab was founded. So Bart and Jay actually, before founding B Lab, they owned another company. It was actually a company that made basketball apparel. And in that business, they really prioritized social and environmental impact. So they looked for their employee well-being, in their procurement practices, their governance. Everything that they did in that business was focusing on the social and environmental impact that they had. As the business grew, it eventually got acquired by another larger company. And in that acquisition, the way that the business was conducted completely changed. And the business went from being impact focused to just operating like a regular business with profit as its main drive. So seeing how the business that they cared so much about changed, the founders saw that traditional businesses and how they were structured were not prepared to take impact considerations as much as they should be. And there was two main reasons for that. The first one relating to corporate law. Traditional corporate law means that businesses have to take shareholder interests in all of their decision making. So they have to prioritize the bottom line. And in second place, it was really hard for consumers to separate companies with good practices from companies with good marketing. You could use, for example, an organic certification to certify a good product, but there wasn't really a type of certification that would tell consumers that the company behind the product was a good company. So they got together and started B Lab as a way of providing businesses with the tools to take social and environmental impact and embed that into the corporate DNA of businesses and really change the way that businesses were structured. And we're going to watch a video now that's going to dive a little bit deeper into what we mean by this systems change.
Throughout history, humankind has created a multitude of different economic and social systems. Traditional systems, absolutism, Feudalism, communism, capitalism, the list goes on. And while systems are complex, the truth is they were built by people, so they can be changed by people. After all, humanity is interdependent, with one another and with the planet. The problem is, this is often forgotten, and short-term gains are prioritised over long-term value. Me over we, now over the future, inequity over justice, profits over people and planet. Leading to this. And this. All of which are negative impacts of our current economic system. But it doesn't have to be this way. We can transform from profiting only the few to benefiting all, from concentrating wealth and power to ensuring equity, from extraction to regeneration, and from individualism to interdependence. It is not an unreachable ideal. It is the reality that we, the B Corp movement, are already building. All around the world, we enable companies to improve their social and environmental impact with our standards and tools. We certify and engage businesses that meet these standards. We catalyse public policies that expand businesses' accountability beyond just to shareholders. We steward communities and collective action and amplify the stories of people using business as a force for good. The B Corp movement, led by B Lab and Sistema Bay, positively impacts nearly 300,000 workers at over 4,000 companies in over 150 industries and 77 countries. Together, we're transforming the global economy to benefit all people, communities, and the planet. Together, we'll realise our vision of an inclusive, equitable, and regenerative world. Join the movement.
I love that video. And you've seen some of these numbers in the video already, but I think it's a good, the graph especially is a good way for us to see how much the movement has progressed since its founding in 2006. From the first certified company in 2007, it took B Lab around 7 years to reach 1,000 certified companies worldwide. And the ratio of growth has increased dramatically over the past few years. We don't have 2021 data in this graph here, but in the past year alone, we have certified over 700 companies, and we just keep growing. One thing I want to highlight here again is that when we talk about the companies that make up the B movement, we often think about the Patagonias and B Jerry's of the world. And while these large companies are super important, the vast majority of B Corps are actually very small companies and that are present in the US and Canada and around the world. You might have also seen that B Lab U.S. in Canada was founded at the same time as B Lab Global. But today we actually see that the majority of B Corps are outside of the US. Only around 40% of the overall B Corps are located in the US and Canada. So we see that the movement has been growing exponentially in other countries. And we can see in the next slide that B Lab has a structure to support this growth and this community around the world. The way that our organization works is that it is actually many organizations. We have B Lab Global, which is the main independent organization that oversees B Lab standards. So that's the organization that creates the BIA that some of you are already familiar with, regularly update the BIA, conduct audits of companies that apply to be B Corp certified, and actually award the certification. And hand in hand with B Lab Global, we have the global partners, of which B Lab US and Canada is one. And these are the local organizations around the world that support the growth of the movement. So we're the ones that are providing support to companies and getting them into the community. And you see here in this map that we are now present in North and South America and Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia and New Zealand. And although B Lab U.S. and Canada was the first global partner to be founded, we have been founding more and more global partners in the past few years and expanding the reach of the movement into other regions. Now I'll hand it back to Michelle. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Xiao. Next up, we have Kevin Lee from Dr. Bronner's. Dr. Bronner's, a certified B Corp since 2015, is the top-selling brand of organic and fair trade body care in the US. Dr. Bronner's was founded in 1948 by Manuel Bronner, a third-generation master soap maker from a German Jewish soap-making family. He used the labels on his superb ecological soaps to spread his message that we must realize our transcendent unity across religious and ethnic divides or perish. We are all one or none. Kevin will share more about what it means to be a B Corp. Welcome, Kevin.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Kevin Lee, and I work for Dr. Bronner's. Dr. Bronner's is a fifth-generation, family-owned, organic and fair trade personal care products company. In addition to producing the top-selling natural brand of soap in North America, we also manufacture hand sanitizer, lotions, toothpaste, and coconut oil. And most recently, we started selling regenerative organic chocolates. We have 6 varieties of delicious chocolate bars. The company as we know it today was founded by Dr. Manuel Bronner, who created the All One mission. And we continue to carry out that mission by making socially and environmentally responsible products of the highest quality that we think. And we dedicate around 30% of our profits annually to activism and philanthropic causes. I currently serve as the Environmental Impact and Compliance Specialist, which means I track our overall environmental footprint from energy to waste to water and greenhouse gas emissions. And I help with environmental compliance, employee engagement around sustainability, such as co-chairing our internal green team and leading our annual Earth Week, to advocating for green public policies that align with our company's mission. People ask, why did Dr. Bronner's decide to go through B Corp certification and join the B Corp movement? Well, I want to rewind a bit and say our founder, Emmanuel Bronner, preached an all-one vision, that we are all one or none, as he used to say, meaning we are all connected on this planet. He used the phrase constructive capitalism back in the 1940s, long before social enterprise or CSR were buzzwords in business. And for Emmanuel Bronner, constructive capitalism was the idea that businesses should share their profits with everyone who helped make them, including employees, suppliers, and the community. So in many ways, we were already practicing what it meant to be a B Corp long before the B Corp certification was even around. We truly believe in the power of business as a force for good and regeneration for our planet. But with all that said, the Bronner family, the company is still owned by the Bronner family, and they chose to reincorporate as a registered benefit corporation in California in 2015 to protect the social and environmental mission of the business into perpetuity. And we chose B Lab to certify our benefit impact because the B Corp certification, it's rigorous, it's transparent, and it holds businesses accountable for the good that they claim they do. So being a certified B Corp also means we are part of a community of like-minded businesses who can work together on some of the greatest challenges of our time, like climate justice, and our positive impact as a business can be greater because we are in community with each other. I want to talk a little bit about how we find value in B Corp certification in the community. Completing the B impact assessment ensures that we are honest about how well we do in supporting our community, environment, employees, and our customers. And we can track our progress over time, learning where we can grow and continuously improve, and benchmarking ourselves against other mission-driven companies we can learn from. Every time we recertify, we get to reevaluate how well we are doing as a company. So are we staying true to what we say we do? We have a small but mighty internal team that helps us complete the certification these days. And it's usually a multi-month process, but I would say it's well worth it. The benefit of having gone through multiple recertifications at this point now is that we get to use our previous scores as baselines and measure the progress we have made, and hopefully we will continue to make moving forward. We love the B Corp community because we get to collaborate with and learn from like-minded businesses that are committed to using business as a force for good. For example, we have learned how to make our leave policy and benefits package more generous because we've learned from other B Corps. Another example, as a company, Dr. Bronner's wants to address our use of plastic packaging and move toward more reusable and sustainable options. Plastic packaging is contributing to a global plastic pollution crisis and climate injustice, and no one company can tackle it alone. So we are grateful that through the B Corp community, we can collaborate with other companies to find solutions. We also work with the B Corp community to advocate for policies that advance bold climate justice solutions, living wages for employees, drug policy reform, GMO labeling, and a whole bunch more. What is a highlight of being a B Corp? A personal highlight for me is that as an employee of Dr. Bronner's and a certified B Corp, I can rest assured that I work for a company that is purpose-driven and committed to making the world a better place. I hope the B Corp logo on our labels also communicates to our customers that we stand true to the B Corp mission of using business as a force for good, and that we are striving to make the planet a better place with our vision of all one love.
Thank you, Kevin, for coming to share your story with us. We're really grateful. Now we're going to hear from our colleague, Carrie Ann Reeves, who is going to tell us what it takes to become a B Corp. Carrie Ann.
Thanks, Sylvia. Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Ann Reeves, and I'm the Business Development Coordinator here at B Lab U.S. in Canada. Now, some of you might be familiar with the 3 fundamental requirements for B Corp certification, but to others, these might be new. Our hope is that these requirements be thought of as the foundational pillars of being a B Corp, while also reinforcing your own impact journey. These 3 requirements include getting a verified score of at least 80 points on the B Impact Assessment, adopting a legal framework to consider all stakeholders, and making your impact score transparent on the B Corp directory. Every company must get a verified score of at least 80 points on our B Impact Assessment in order to certify. The B Impact Assessment is a free and confidential tool that thousands of companies across the world use to measure and monitor performance. Scoring 80 points can be difficult. It is not uncommon for companies to work for months or even years to get their self-reported score above 80 in order to be eligible to submit for the review process. So kudos to all of you who have certified and gone through that. It is also common for companies to fall below the 80 points during the assessment review process. So we generally recommend that companies aim to achieve 85 points before submitting their assessment for review, just to be on the safe side. The B Impact Assessment helps companies measure their impact across 5 stakeholder groups that include governance, workers, environment, community, and customers. Across the 5 stakeholder impact areas, the assessment measures both operational impact and the impact of a company's business model. Questions related to operational impact have to do with the day-to-day impact of running a business. They might assess the impact of your company's facilities, purchases, internal policies, or governance structures. The questions in the impact business model sections identify whether and how your company is designed to create specific positive social and/or environmental impact for its stakeholders. Unlike the operational questions, impact business models, also known as IBMs, are rare and will not apply to every company. They may be based on a company's product or service a particular process or activity, or the structure of the business itself. They are generally weighted more heavily in the scoring of the assessment than the operational impact questions. The assessment also includes an unscored section called the disclosure questionnaire, which is designed to capture any sensitive or potentially negative impacts of the business. This slide details a non-exhaustive list of question topics covered under each impact area within the B impact assessment. The topics in white indicate operational impact questions, while those in yellow indicate impact business model questions. To provide a better idea of the concrete difference between the two question types, let's take resource conservation, for example. If a company has a great internal recycling policy and procedures, this would be captured in the operational impact questions of the environment section as a part of the daily operations of the company. However, if they were instead going the extra mile and developing a product or service that utilizes recycled or reused materials to help reduce or limit the amount of waste going into a landfill, this would be an example of an intentional aspect of a business model that is focused on addressing an environmental issue, and this business would be able to receive additional points in the environment section under the resource conservation impact business model. Next, there is the legal requirement. A key pillar of becoming a B Corp is adopting a legal structure that supports decision-making in the interest of all stakeholders of the company, not just shareholders or those who have direct financial stake. This requirement speaks to the longer-term systems change that the B community hopes to achieve. A system based on creating value for all stakeholders, like communities, the environment, and workers, alongside shareholders. A system that creates value for the many versus the few. Every company pursuing B Corp certification must change their legal DNA to reflect this by either amending their operating agreement with the legal language found using the legal tool on our website, or if they are currently registered as a corporate entity in a state or province where benefit corporation is available, they must adopt benefit corporation status. If you are ever unsure of what your legal requirement is, we recommend you use our legal tool to determine your legal pathway. For companies in the US and Canada with less than 50 employees, this requirement must be met before certification can be completed. For companies in the US and Canada with 50 or more employees, there is a grace period. Lastly, every company, once certified, is required to make their final B impact assessment score transparent on our public searchable B Corp directory. The score will be broken down by impact area, so anyone who is looking will be able to see exactly how many points were earned in each section. As a side note, in order for companies to stay certified, they must go through a recertification process every 3 years, in which they need to submit an updated B impact assessment and complete the legal requirement if that is still outstanding for their company. If you have any additional questions regarding the certification process, you can email us at certify@bcorporation.net, which is the inbox managed by me. Now I'll pass it back over to Michelle.
Thanks, Carrie Ann. Let's move on to our next speaker, Farmer C from Green Heffa Farms. Green Heffa Farms was a company that went through the Level program in 2021. Green Heffa Farms is an organic, regenerative farm and brand that is guided by its 4 E's: economic empowerment, environment, education, and equity. It grows its own medicinal plants and herbs that are used to make products that care for the spirit and the body. Nurturing souls through plants is their religion. Welcome, Pharmacy.
Hello, fellow B Corp community. My name is Clorinda Pharmacy Stanley, and I am thrilled to share with you more about my business, Green Heffa Farms, and the work that we do. So a little bit about us. We became a B Corp in August of last year, and we were so excited. It was definitely a milestone accomplishment for us. We are a small, family-owned medicinal plants and herb farm in Liberty, North Carolina. And we're guided by what we call the 4 E's: economic development, equity, education, and environment. I am a 7th generation heritage farmer. I strongly believe in organic growing, and we are also advocates for equity in agriculture and started Leveling the Planting Field, an initiative focused on equity in agriculture in 2018. We believe in regenerative and reparative agriculture, unapologetically Black woman-led, and we are socially responsible. So what do? We produce loose leaf herbal teas and steams. You're gonna ask me what a steam is, I know. Teas do not have hemp flower. Our steams do have hemp flower. Teas are sold as teas. Steams are sold as beauty products. If you want more information on that, please visit our website. But we have unique blends and we're vertically scaled, seed to sip. Our motto is we grow slow so we don't owe. We have minimal debt right now with our business model. And we have a lot of exciting things happening. We're about to add bagged teas. We have some new blends coming out, and we are going to be launching a subscription program. All right. Because we are a society that does value credentials, we have opted to become a B Corp certified corporation. We are transitioning to organic and are in the process of attaining our USDA certification. And we are also designated a minority business by the North Carolina Department of Administration. So why B Corp? There's several reasons. Firstly, we wanted to formalize our existing commitments to social and environmental responsibility. Social and environmental responsibility weren't things that we had to be proven that they were valuable due to business outcomes. It was something that was very close to the principles and the values on which we were founded. But we wanted to have some formal acknowledgement of that commitment. It's instant external validation when you say that you're B Corp. You put the B Corp symbol on your products and immediately there's traction. We had people that contacted us and said, hey, I only buy from B Corp organizations. So there's that external validation, and it also provides validation within industry, within the various marketplaces that we are in. It provides access to best practices and resources. And by best, I mean those that are acknowledged. We know that there is space that needs to be taken up by Indigenous farmers, heritage farmers, other BIPOC communities, and other businesses outside of agriculture as well, right? But it does provide you with access to those that are widely practiced and accepted. Networking with other B Corps. It allows you to get to know other B Corp leaders, whether they're on the executive side or sustainability experts. It's been tremendous in really connecting with some companies that we now have partnerships with. And we wanted to contribute to the greater conversation. I noticed during the impact assessment that there were a lot of questions that didn't quite encapsulate my experience, an experience I know of other entrepreneurs like myself, of other farm owners like myself. And so it's been real beneficial to be able to come to the table and contribute to the conversation in a meaningful way. All right, so the Level program was really exciting. I had some conversations with B Corp early on about the business impact assessment, and I was happy to see that that conversation eventually, with many, many other conversations, did lead to action, and the Level program was created. And our intent was to achieve B Corp certification regardless. But what Level did was it made the path so much easier to navigate. It provided support, it provided resources, and it really made it as painless a process, I think, that it could be. And for me, the overall value of B Corp certification is it allows an opportunity to better communicate the social and environmental impact of BIPOC farmers, of women farmers, of Black women farmers to the B Corp conversation. It's a ready population of companies and businesses in existence that would bring so much value to the B Corp community. And so I am really honored to now be at the table and able to have those conversations as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Farmer C. I hope you are as inspired as I am. What an incredible woman, what an incredible business. Okay, so next we're actually going to take a very short break, about 5 minutes. So if you need to grab a glass of water, if you need to run to the bathroom, whatever it is, please go now. We are going to be playing a B Corp advertisement now, and we'll see you back here in 5 minutes. Thank you.
In 2021, the year we achieved what we felt was one of our most important goals, to become a certified B Corporation. Hold up, you're wondering, what is a certified B Corporation? Well, certified B Corps are for-profit businesses that have been certified by the nonprofit B Lab to meet the highest standards of social and environmental performance, public transparency, and legal accountability. We are legally required to consider the impact of our decisions on our team members, customers, suppliers, community, and the environment. We join over 4,000 other businesses like Patagonia, Allbirds, The Body Shop, 10 Tree, and many more in almost 80 countries around the world. But it's not just some cool badge we can put on our website. Our business has changed how we do things, going as far as to update our corporate legal documents to strive for an equal balance to people, planet, and profit. The triple bottom line of the B Corp movement. People was always in our DNA. For years, we've offered a comprehensive benefits plan, flexible work hours with vacation, flex time and sick days, a company library where team members can add any book they want every quarter, a group retirement plan, and much more. For the planet, we're always working on reduction strategies, and what we can't reduce, we've offset through our climate neutral certification. We offset all of our scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, and beyond that, we power our studio with Bullfrog Power, putting green energy back into the grid for all of the energy we consume. We also invest at least 1% of our total revenue each year into environmental organizations vetted through 1% for the planet. We have a discount on pro bono program allotted for nonprofits, and contribute funds into our reoccurring Untold Story Fund, an initiative to support emerging storytellers with the tools and resources to make their own films. This is just the beginning, and we have a lot of goals for how we can improve how we treat people and the planet better. We're always looking at how we can elevate the standards of our clients, collaborators, suppliers, and our own team to ensure each project and collaboration is improving our impact. Let's face it, when it comes to branded content, marketing, and film production, the industry is not known for its treatment of people or the planet. Each project we do, we strive to change that, and we're proud of the work we've done, as well as all of the work we're going to do. That's why our certification is important to us. It's part of how we can try to make the world a better place, one story at a time.
We hope that you enjoyed the break and enjoyed the video. Next up, we have Marielle Martin from B Lab U.S. and Canada to share about the work ahead, collective action, and how you can engage with this work.
Thank you, Michelle. Hi, everyone. So we talked about it a little bit already, that B Lab's global vision is for an inclusive, equitable, and regenerative economic system for all people and the planet. And the current economic system is failing and creating devastating and negative impacts. And we all saw that during the global pandemic, where environmental disasters, the pandemic, and rising prices for food really made inequality and the inequities within the system clear. And across the globe, movements for equity and justice have been gaining momentum. To share some statistics and numbers with you, the richest 26 people own as much wealth in the world as 3.8 billion people. The UN declared that we have 12 years to prevent irreversible climate impacts. 30 million people across the world are enslaved in forced labor. More than 80% of the world's original forests are gone. And every year, 1.3 billion tons of food are wasted as 2 billion people suffer from hunger and malnutrition. There's historic inequity in our world at the moment, but there's also a historic momentum for systems change. And the B Corp movement has credibility like never before to step up and lead. And that includes leading with people like you. Changing the system requires a worldview shift in business and how we use our collective power, how businesses behave, the norms and cultural expectations of business, the laws, policies, and legal structures that govern business, and more. And with the largest and most developed community of B Corps, B Lab U.S. in Canada has the opportunity, the power, and the voice to catalyze systems change for our global network. B Lab U.S. in Canada's mission within our theory of change is to cultivate, mobilize, and amplify the collective impact of a community of credible, stakeholder-driven business leaders in order to drive economic systems change for the benefit of all. And our goal is to take action collectively on our region's most pressing challenges with you. But in order to achieve our global vision, we must address our region's most pressing challenges right now, which are the climate emergency and increasing racial inequity. There's a quote by Audre Lorde that says, "There is no such thing as a single issue struggle because we do not live single issue lives." Within B Lab U.S. in Canada, we have an impact focus, and we're focusing on 3 very critical areas. One is climate justice, one is racial equity, and the last is the stakeholder-driven economic system. Climate justice means creating and advancing climate solutions that also focus on human rights and inequity and the intersection of racial equity. Climate justice acknowledges that across the world, the people most vulnerable are usually impacted by climate disasters first and more often. And racial equity focuses on just and fair inclusion into society in which all people are able to receive the full potential and that their race nor ethnicity is a barrier to receiving that full potential. We also focus on structural racism that refers to a historic and ongoing political, cultural, social, and economic system that uses policies and practices to systematically disadvantage people of color, especially Black and Indigenous identifying persons. And the stakeholder-driven economic system focuses on creating a new economic system where businesses act in the interests of community, workers, society members, and the earth, and not just shareholders. In order to accomplish this, laws and regulations must be changed to require business and financial institutions to look beyond their own financial returns and take responsibility for the impact that they have on the social and ecological systems we live under. And on B Lab U.S. and Canada's team, we have people that focus on these impact areas. Hugh Signey Jr. is our Senior Program Manager for Racial Equity. I am our Associate Program Manager for Racial Equity. Holly Barstow is the Director of Stakeholder Governance and Policy. And Grace Mouser is the Policy Manager within the department. We also are currently hiring a climate team that will focus solely on climate justice. And we have a lot of upcoming opportunities and ways that you can engage with the work that's already been happening. There's a climate justice playbook that is a guide for businesses on their climate justice journey. We also have Earth Month in April, where there will be programming coming up that includes reflection guides on climate justice and webinars and workshops for people to engage in. On March 31st, there's Reset that will be focused on closing the racial wealth gap and how businesses can use different approaches to utilize corporate racial equity and do that for their workers, community, and society. There's also the CEO Blueprint for Racial Equity, which is a partnership with the Corporate Racial Equity Alliance, PolicyLink, FSG, and Just Capital that helps our CEOs implement racial equity features and principles within their business practices. And under policy, there are policy congressional meetings taking place on March 14th and March 25th that enable B Corps to share more about their experiences as sustainable businesses with policymakers, and then continuous training on the basics of advocacy and how, as team members and business members, we can advocate on critical topics such as racial equity, stakeholder capitalism, and climate. And it's important to remember that even once you receive certification or when you're doing the certification, that the work of becoming a company within this movement isn't linear and it's a process, and we're all working on it together. Thank you, and I'll pass it back to our moderators.
Thank you, Mari. Clearly, there's a lot of work for all of us to do and many ways to engage, so please go ahead and engage with all the opportunities that are available. For the last B Corp speaker, and not least, we have Chris from Wild and Pine, certified in 2021. Wild and Pine is one of Canada's emerging nature-based solutions provider, designing opportunities for businesses to advance climate action initiatives, creating positive impact through our environment and region. Take it away, Chris.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Kallal, and I'm the founder and CEO of Wild and Pine. Wild and Pine is a climate action company. We develop carbon offset projects for businesses through the establishment and restoration of Canada's forests. And we are actually a recently certified B Corp from July of 2021, so we're new into the community. Today I'm going to be sharing with you two projects and later describe why those projects are connected and why those are important. However, the theme of my discussion today is to focus on what we're good at. As we look towards a more sustainable and equitable future, we need community, and we desperately need leadership. In every discussion with our team and even our partners, I always remind us to focus on what we're good at. And this is something that I can't stress enough for every business to do. So let me unpack this a little bit more. For example, a trucking company isn't just a trucking company. They are logistical masterminds. Here in Alberta, a seismic exploration company isn't just a seismic company. They are data wizards. I couldn't think of a better place to have our business than Alberta. Much of the technology and innovation that we see around the world in the energy sector can be traced back to the warehouses, garages, and even the basements in which those technologies and those prototypes were first founded and built. We are problem solvers and tool makers by nature that are hungry for success. When we pair that with the reality of living in the information age, today, really, a kid with a MacBook can change the world. So let me dive into a couple projects here. The first of which is our Forest B project, which was a collective climate action campaign that we led in 2021 that was actually sponsored by 33 Canadian B Corps. We planted 52,000 trees, where another 5,000 is actually going to be planted. This summer, $150,000 was injected into the local economy, and we took this area of land that was formerly converted and left unused for agriculture back to a native forested landscape and set it on a trajectory to become equivalent land capability. Our next project here is our Bioprism Advanced Vertical Greenhouse. This facility here is the first of its kind in Canada in the production of tree seedlings in a fully artificial growing environment. In fact, the seedlings that we planted out on that Forest B project site were grown here throughout the winter in this facility. There's some incredible innovation and technology in this facility, but really it's only a small piece of the puzzle when we look at inspiring change and really fundamentally looking at Wild and Pine's purpose. And really that purpose is to spur contagious innovation that also inspires our community to create action and meaningful change. I'm going to play a video now that brings a couple of these ideas together.
We are, after all, the greatest problem solvers to have ever existed on Earth. We now understand this problem. We know how to stop the number rising and put it in reverse. We must recapture billions of tons of carbon from the air. We must fix our sights on keeping 1.5 degrees within reach. A new industrial revolution, powered by millions of sustainable innovations, is essential and is indeed already beginning.
That was David Attenborough at the recent COP26 conference in late 2021. And next here, I recently presented at another B Corp event in November as well. And the focus of that event was on place matters. And really, as we tie it back and we look at what is Wild and Pine good at, and really what we're good at is inspiring leadership and sustainability and creating innovation, creating a community that will have a greater impact than any achievement that we can make on our own. Really fundamentally, our place here for Wild and Pine is our purpose. We're a group of passionate natural scientists with a relentless drive for creativity and technology development. Wild and Pine doesn't sell tree seedlings or greenhouse technology or lead carbon offset projects. What we do is we create a community of passionate individuals that see a similar urgency for climate action and positive change in our environment. So in return, when we ask ourselves, what are we good at and why this is important to us and within the B Corp community, is because in return, the B Corp community asks us, how can we leverage that strength to make the most positive social impact in the world? And we couldn't think of a better place and a better community for Wild and Pine to be a part of than the B Corp community. Thank you so much, and I really hope that my discussion today has inspired some kind of positive action and change, and really helps some of the businesses out there to really look at what they are really good at and how they can bring that to the world and hopefully inspire change as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris. What an incredible story about moving the community to act with Forest B. It really shows us that size does not inhibit your ability to act. Passion and will can take you a long way. Wow. We hope that you're leaving this event with a deeper understanding of the B Corp movement and that you're inspired to get involved. There are many ways to be connected deeper to this movement. For companies that are Be Curious, we encourage you to sign up for our newsletters, follow us on social media, and to visit our website at uscabcorporation.net to find out more about the certification process, collective action opportunities, and anti-racism resources.
For B Corp, please visit the Beehive, our community platform, to access resources, join affinity groups, and to connect with other B Corps. We have a US and Canada B Corp Month group where we are encouraging B Corps to post collaborations and employee testimonials that you have made during this month. And lastly, if you enjoyed the event, please take a few moments to complete our survey. We would love to know your thoughts and ways we can improve this experience in the future. Thank you everyone for attending today. We appreciate your commitment to the B Corp movement, and we really hope to see you in our upcoming events.
Thank you, everyone.